All right, there we go. Doc South here, saying hey. As many of you know, I belong to a group called the Lost Storytellers. I think I'm probably the most lost of them. Most of them seem to be pretty well grounded young folks, and I believe I might be the older. Yeah, I think I'm the geezer in the group. The like in the old Western movies, I'm that old timer sitting there whittling, yeah, sitting outside the saloon. Yeah, yeah, in my day, back in 1794, I can hear me now. Yeah, I'd have done well in those movies, doggone her. Let my hair grow a little long. Well, it already is pretty long, what little I got. But yeah, let's see. Well, anyway, yeah. So I was looking at some of the postings, and there was one of the young folks in the group said that she was expecting tornadoes. Must live in Tornado Alley, I think. Yeah, the Midwest and southern Midwest. I guess anywhere in the Midwest, Tornado Alley. It's a big alley. Yeah, and more like Tornado Boulevard. But they, and she was expecting some. I remember I told her, well, keep your eyes peeled, keep your head down, be ready to run for your life to the shelter and all that. And evidently, the whatever came and went. And I guess what I gather, it was certainly she's certainly okay. But I got to thinking how, boy, some of those storms. I've only seen one tornado. Well, I think I may have driven through one once. It's sort of hard to know when you're in them. The car just starts shaking and moving, and it's and then honestly, yeah, but the darn thing just seems to you're like in whiteout conditions, and then all of a sudden it's gone, and your tires are back on the road, which is kind of nice. And that actually happened in Jersey, which basically is known for twisters that aren't very well. Yeah, they're not they're not chubby checker style twisters. They're not that powerful, but still, doggone, if a weak one's making your van rock back and forth off its wheels and stuff, well, that's okay. And I remember these storms. I especially and one other person on the posting about the twisters said how they were, I guess, a friend of this person, this lost storyteller, maybe one herself, said how her plane was diverted. They couldn't land because there was potential trouble at her destination airport, so they had to divert. And probably a good idea. I mean, gosh. I know when I lived down south, there was this. I lived in the flatlands, it's sort of like living on a griddle. It would get so hot in the summer, but they would get these storms would come through very much, I guess, like that area was pretty much like the Midwest, only the ocean wasn't too far away. And you would get these wild thunderstorms. Twisters, I guess now and then you would get one. I don't ever recall seeing one. Hurricanes, you got them. But I remember one day I'm riding along somewhere around, I think, Wilson County, North Carolina. And I'm riding in my car, and of course the land is so flat it's perfect for growing corn, cabbage, tobacco, all sorts of things grow down there. It's watermelons like you wouldn't believe, and I'm riding along doing about 60. That was about the limit at that spot, a country road, a country highway, and I look off to my right, and there's a crop duster. The fields are so big that you'd be hard put with a tractor to get your fertilizer down or your insecticides, etc., whatever they throw on the crops, plant food, I suppose. They have crop dusters, and these guys come in. They're basically small airplanes with tanks attached and spraying devices on the wings. And this crop duster, I look. I'm riding along, and you know how when you're driving, you're looking, to your left and right. I'm looking off to my right, and there's this airplane riding along right with me. I guess their wings are such that they can stay aloft, doing 50 or 60 miles an hour. They can go faster, but you don't want to go that fast, that low to the ground in an airplane. And so he's spraying the crops, and I look over at him, and I had like a roof, what do you call it, a roof vent on my car. I picked my hand up and I waved to him, and he sees me, he's waving to me, we're waving to each other, and he's just doing his thing. And I saw him. He basically had, I guess, a number of fields to do for that farmer. So he's coming to a tree line. He just goes, "Ooh, like that over the tree line and disappears. And I guess I figured, well, he's doing another section of the field. He's going to get the whole darn thing. And I didn't think much else about it. And all of a sudden, I'm riding along for about 5 minutes, and again, couldn't really see that far off into the distance. There was a little bit, there was some hills, not many, but some, and trees kind of blocking my view along the road. All of a sudden, this guy comes, right? He's coming the other direction, and I waved to him again, and with his hand, he's pointing to the back, behind him. And he guns it, and off he goes. He actually got up, maybe about 500 feet and just beat feet. And I said, I wonder what the devil that's all about, And I look, I ride about a mile. I come over a hill. The trees part. There's no more trees, a canopy of trees. And there's this, there is the largest darn thunderstorm, a big old thundercloud just heading our way. And, I guess he decided maybe discretion, the better part of valor. And boy, did he get... I don't imagine you want to be flying 25 feet, 30 feet off the ground in a small plane with a storm like that coming. Man, that thing, and it was rough. Man, I got into that in my... the roof hatch, seal all ports. But I can still see that guy. Man, he said, oh, no, you don't. I know my father was a pilot in World War II. He flew these things called Corsairs, which was a really wild fighter plane. Big engine, a lot of horsepower. I think they could do a little over 400 miles an hour, heavily armored. It was a force to reckon with. You were in trouble with a Corsair on your tail. And he didn't get into combat. The war ended before he would have been up for going over, and probably just as well. And he was a good pilot. But he said one day he's flying over the Midwest, and this young lady from the Midwest might enjoy this. He said, you know how I guess pilots get this thing sometimes, especially when they're beginners or relatively new at it, where they can handle anything. And my father, he's flying along, and he saw one of those big thunderhead thunderstorms, which basically don't cover, like here in Jersey, generally thunderstorms come in a pack, or in a almost like a wave of them. But in places like the South and Midwest, maybe it's because you can see so far, without the mountains and trees in the way. But they're more like tin cans, giant tin cans of sheer hell in the sky. They're more like columns. Well, he looks over to his left, and he sees a big old thunderstorm, just zapping lightning and dark and all that. And he decides, I'm going to go fly through that. Well, it'll be fun. He gets... He hards left and banks left rather, and he goes right for it. And he gets in that thing, and he says, "Oh my God!" He says, "What have I done?" It's literally, he said, there was no light. It was totally dark, black, except for lightning. He said there was so much doggone lightning. he thought he was getting the electric chair. I mean, he said they were the bolts of lightning and thunder. Oh my God, it was like artillery in there. And he said he's not so sure if he's flying level anymore because he's looking at his altimeter and the thing's going wah 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 like that, and he's going up and down 500 feet in like a second or two. Very fast. I might be exaggerating only a little. And he say he doesn't know if he's upside down, going up, going down. He's thinking any second now he's going to find that he's 50 feet off the deck, and bang, or then at times he's thinking, God, I don't think, where's my oxygen? I'm up too high, and upside down, flitting around. Oh my God, he said it was like being a balsa wood model airplane, with a bunch of kids throwing it all over the place. And the lightning, oh my God, the lightning's getting all over the, he said it was just amazing. And then all of a sudden, bang, he comes out the other end. And he looks behind him. He kind of banks and just takes a look at that storm and says, wherever that storm's going, I'm going the other direction. And off he goes. So, yeah, you don't want to be flying. And I guess he was lucky he was in a very tough plane. It sounds like that. It sounds like that plane would have been something like, the way anything smaller. He said, "Oh my God." So from then on, when he saw there was a thunderstorm, like the airlines do, he wisely diverted. Although, one day down south, I lived near an Air Force base, and they flew B-52s out of there. And there was I remember one day there was, again, one of those anvil type storms. I think that's what you call them, anvil with the columns. And there was a B-52 flying for it. And I saw the B-52 just go right up alongside it and just fly around it. It just with its wing cutting into the storm just a little. And yeah, like it was toying with the thunderstorm. And then what it did, it banked away, turned, and then just flew right into it like it didn't care. B-52s, I guess, got maybe a little more oomph to get through. But doggone, I'm thinking, oh, man, that guy, I wanted to get on the phone and call him, tell, hey, my father tried that once. You might want to, you guys might want to beat feet. It's a thunderstorm, for crying out loud. Well, then. But they, from what I get, nothing happened. I mean, I guess they landed okay, but oh my gosh. But yeah, so watch those anvil storms. They're pretty wild. Anyway, I hope no more tornadoes come to those young folks out there in the Midwest. That would be great. They're no fun. No fun whatsoever. Very powerful. Okay, so, well, keep a weather eye peeled. And here in North Jersey, I think we're going to get a thunderstorm here. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go turn off the TV. Yeah. Okay, we'll see you later. Thank you, and well, God bless. Bye now.